I was really grateful this weekend to finally get my Blackfeet name by my father-in-law. My father-in-law is a tribal councilman. He's a very well qualified person to give names out in our culture. He has the rights to do it. He is a bundle keeper for his people up there in a part of a tribal society up there. Pat, shout out to Pat. He's my father-in-law. He's a great man. He's a great person. He's just the embodiment of just what a good man is. I love him a lot. He's my family, but it was such a privilege for me to get this and receive this. You know, this is such a big deal for me because I'm 21 years old and I never got my Blackfeet name yet, and I got the privilege of getting it yesterday, and it was just such a great experience. My dad, my mom, my brother got their native names with me as well, and it was just a very amazing experience. I do have a longer video of him talking about his story, talking about his experiences and passing it on to us, and then passing it down to me. And I also have a video of him singing his song for us. I have him talking about his story. I have him talking about of me getting my native name. This is going to be quite a long video, but I just want to post this and share the memory just with everyone because it'll always be here on YouTube. I could go back 10 years from now, show my kids this experience, show my family this. So it was just a very great experience. I was very thankful, and I definitely felt like I deserved it. That's one thing, you know, throughout receiving my Blackfeet name, I knew that I deserved this. You know, I've been through a lot of my life. I've endured a lot of hardship. I've endured a lot of things. I've done things with sports, with, you know, boxing, with running. I've been resilient. I've done things in my life so far that have been very like admirable. And so when I got my name, I just remembered all these things. Like, up to this moment, I worked for it and I deserved it. So it was just a very great experience, and I'm gonna share with you guys this experience.
When we pass on as Blackfoot, we're not known as. I'm not going to be known as Pat Armstrong. Instead, I'm going to be known and called upon as Natusi Sakakumati, which means son boy. And so, you know, and our ways are they're pretty powerful, you know, and when we're gifted, you know, certain things, it's transferred, you know, and this is going to be your first transfer to your life, you know, as a Blackfoot person, you know, and like I was saying, as babies, you know, babies, it's their very first transfer, and coming into this way of life, it's like you're a baby in a sense. And so from here, you're only going to grow and mature into this way of life with your brother. And so the 4 stories I'm going to tell are stories that I either succeeded in or escaped danger, but it's to benefit you guys, each and every one of you. The first story, I'm going to face that way. The first story that I'm going to tell is a story of survival. See, when I was inside my mom's womb, the doctors pronounced me dead. And on that day, it was a pretty hard day for my parents. I'm going to make this short. But due to a promise that my father made when he went out and he visited my grandpa, the late Louis Fish, he asked my grandfather, "What do I do?" And my grandfather said, "Pat, you know what to do." He sat there, and you know, our elders always tell us stuff to make us think things through. You know, they won't give us a direct answer. So he went home and he grabbed his pipe and he went off and he filled his pipe. And he started praying, and as he was praying, he made a vow to never touch drugs or alcohol ever again if his boy's life was spared. And so in his prayer, he started crying. And they say the purest form of love is when you can pray for somebody, especially as a parent. And we're only as strong as the prayers that were said for us.
Those are hard.
I'm still here.
Turning this way.
So I guess my parents and grandparents' prayers are pretty strong. But when my dad went back home after he put his pipe away, he went into the house and my mom was still crying. And he went over there and he broke down again. And as he put his head to her stomach, I kicked him. And she said, he said, Freddie, did you feel that? She said, yes. And so they got up, rushed to the hospital. And that same doctor that pronounced me dead earlier that morning checked my mom, and sure enough, I had a strong heartbeat. And he looked at me and he's like, I just pronounced this baby dead this morning. What did you guys do? My dad just looked at my mom and looked at that doctor and he said, you'll never understand. And so eventually when I was born sickly, I was born premature. And they took me to my late grandfather in Adusa, Louis Fish. He was a medicine man. And they took me into one of his ceremonies. The spirits that were there, they came in and they started talking. And they said, there's a name that one you see up there, he shines on us now. Now Dusi, the sun. He said he's going to gift him his name. He said when you name him, or when he's named, you pray for him. You don't call him by Patrick. Instead, you call him by Nadusi Sakumapi. And that guy up there will tell you exactly. He'll know exactly what to do. And you lay him on a buffalo robe naked in the sun. He'll heal him. He said in a future time, this boy is going to grow up to be an old man. And because of that, he's also going to be involved in our ceremony ways as a leader. And so it was prophesied at that time that I'd be participating, I'd be a leader. And I see that today. And it's something that I hold a lot of pride in. But the reason why I reflect on this story is because my parents did everything for me. They did everything for me. My dad, he celebrates his sobriety on my birthday every year. And on December 29th, he celebrated 46 years staying sober. So I give that story to Ethan, Eli, to all of you here. Just take that to your hearts. Take that to your hearts. Get you.
With your right hand.
With your right hand, just accept it.
Accept that. Okay, story number 2. As athletes, we all know that we train and we got to overcome a lot of certain things, and we succeed because of what we do. And back in my middle school days, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I was undefeated in 800 meter race, also the long jump, the triple jump, and the high jump for all 3 of those years. And it took a lot of practice, extra time on a track and whatnot, to keep at that level, and as our bodies grow and stuff like that, of course there's going to be better athletes and stuff. So I knew that mentality at that time to practice, practice makes perfect in a sense. And so during my 8th grade year, there was a individual from Heartbeat, Pasky comes that night, that was getting pretty close to beating me, and everybody really wanted him to beat me because I was the champ, and undefeated. And although it never happened, it made me push even harder, So, just being able to overcome that mentality, I know that you boys are, into exercising, working out, and maintaining that, throughout that health style in your life. That success that I had, I give that to you guys so that you guys can always have that success in a future time, wherever you pursue. Okay. Story number 3. You know, as a leader, you know, we're called upon to do certain things like this, you know, and sometimes it had the blue. Well, the other weekend in Missoula, we were in a teepee transfer like this, and beautiful day sitting inside the teepee, and Leonard Bastien, Apamaka, he's my holy father. He's saying that you know, this president of the University of Montana, Seth Bottinger, you know, it's by rights that he needs to have a name. And so our leader, Tyson Running Wolf, the Horns, he said, Pat, you're gonna give him a name. So I just, you know, out of the blue, I had to come up with a name, you know, and you know, like I kept thinking, man, this guy's important, you know, what do I name him, you know, because everybody's gonna know him, you know. So obviously I was nervous, you know, and didn't know what the heck I was thinking about, you know. And then, you know, the name that, you know, I gifted him came from our bundle, my wife and I. And so, you know, just being able to name somebody that important, it's a success story that, you know, that I have now. And so because of that success and being recognized as such, you know, to carry on our ways, that's leadership, you know. But it's also recognition because what I do, what I know, what was transferred to me. And the reason why I tell you this story like this is because future time, when you guys get really involved in our ways, set you guys up for that, you know. And I see that you guys will have a good future in that way of life. Okay, again. The last story, back in 2002, the last day of Indian Days. My friend Arlen Edwards, he said, "Hey Pat, there's a girl that wants to talk to you." Oh, okay, who is she? Anna Crawford. Okay, yeah. So, you know, we started talking, and eventually we got together, you know, and that fall we moved over to Missoula together. And you know, ever so often I'd have this deja vu, like I was there before, I seen this somewhere. And it dawned on me that I seen this in dreams. You know, I seen my future. And you know, I didn't want to say anything, but then after, you know, a course of time, Anna told me the same thing, that she's seen this, that she was having that deja vu. And so, and I didn't want to scare her, you know, I didn't tell her up until that point. I let her finish, tell me her story, you know, and her dream. You know, and then I said, you know, Anne, I had the same things that happened to me. Deja vu. So it was like it was meant to be together. Eventually, we found out that she was pregnant with Vita. And after a course of time, during her pregnancy, I had a dream about this little girl. She was about 2 years old and had stringy hair, snotty nose, and running around, you know. And there was 2 girls actually. I called the other one Little Bear Woman, but the other one, I just had a connection with her. And I called her Vita. She come running up to me, and I knew that was my baby daughter. And so when I woke up from that dream, I told my wife about it, and we told our family and our grandparents. You know, our grandparents were very involved in our ways of life, you know, so they're very, very knowledgeable. You know, and at that time we wanted to wait to find out, you know, if she's going to be a boy or a girl. And our grandparents told us, well, you've seen your daughter, you know what she is. Oh man, you know, I still wanted a boy, but you know. Anyway, when she was born, you know, of course, a little girl. That summer day on August 13th, 2003, I got to hold my baby in my arms and show the world, and introduce her as her daughter. couple years down the road, you know, I started having those deja vu moments. Every time I'd see her run around, just exactly how she looked. My dream was how she looked when she was 2 years old. So I seen her in my dream. Eventually we had Ryder, Dopey, and Morningstar. You know, it takes a lot of time and effort to work at things. You know, and my wife and I graduated 2 colleges together. University of Montana Western with our bachelor's degrees, and Montana State Northern with our master's degrees. That's not the big accomplishments. You know, we're bundle carriers. All throughout, you know, what we choose to do, it's always together and side by side. And that's how we choose to live. We have our moments, we have our hard moments, but we respect each other, we love each other unconditionally. And we choose to live that way instead of living on anger. We choose to be unconditional and patient. It's supposed to be. This life ain't handed to us. It takes time and effort. We gotta work at it. So continue to be motivated and inspired in everything you do. That's the last story. So I'm gonna gift him his name now. I'll gift Eli your name after. Okay, not tusi. Okay, napi not tusi. Okay, okay, pataki. Okay, keson. Okay, popski. Bye. Okay, pisuatses. Okay, pinok tuik. Dance kasi magimma. Tokin au tokin at simoin ka. Sukapi mi sami päätä pisno kakamuksissa kumaapiok. Iskuna taapat simoin ka. Sukapi mi sami päätä pisno kakanuksistiko. Ei taamaa piwa. Kimma tokin ake soustik. Kispommus nakasa kumaapi. Ksistiko minna. Kasukapi mi sami päätä pisno kakanuksistiko anokapinakosi. Mi sami päätä pisno kispommuukin anakskapi tsumstan anoksistiko. Iskuna taapat simoin ka kimma piivi. Kamo tanista watsimani mi sami päätä pisno naksäätä piwa. Ken ksistiko minna. Thunder Chief. Just to go me now, hey, on in the water, hey, Omax. Omax Stepane Kempohtoa! Hey! 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 Hey!